Welcome to Libraries Today. This program is intended to recognize and highlight the unexpected ways local libraries serve their communities today. I'm your host, Stan Howe. On this episode of Libraries Today, our focus is the June 2016 floods that devastated much of the state. Homes and businesses were destroyed and lives were washed away. Public libraries in the state were impacted as well. 2 public libraries were destroyed: the Raynell Public Library, located on the western edge of Greenbrier County, and the Clendenin Public Library, located in northeast Kanawha County. The Clay County Public Library was also heavily damaged, and the access bridge to the Elk Valley Public Library was destroyed. Let's pay a visit to the library hit the hardest, the Clendenin Public Library. We're here in Clendenin, West Virginia, standing in front of the city's public library. Powerful floodwaters forced out windows, left 8 inches of mud throughout the building. No printed pieces of material, books, magazines were left unscathed. Tables and chairs floated across the room, and computer equipment was destroyed. The electrical and HVAC systems were damaged beyond repair, and the structure of the library itself is uncertain. Nothing in the building is considered salvageable. And now it's up to the Kanawha County Public Library System to decide what comes next. Let's take a look inside. I'm here with the facility manager of the Kanawha County Library System, Tim Venisanos. Tim, why don't you tell us about the damage that we're seeing here in the library?
Okay. This area over here was the children's area. And of course, we had almost 9.5 feet of water in here.
9.5 feet, that's amazing.
And when we came in the back door to check it, we had DVDs and books in the ceiling and the drop ceiling. Of course, you see the original ceiling now, all the old ceiling is gone. This was the children's area over here. We had all the computers over here on the wall for the children. This was the circ desk area, the checkout. We had the workroom over here for the staff, and the branch manager's office was back here. Over in this big area was most of the library stacks and the books. We had the teen zone was over in this area here by the window, which was completely washed out.
Yeah, that's completely gone, and this one is...
And this one's about half gone.
Yeah. How long did it take you to clean all this up?
It took them about 3 weeks to completely get it to this state that we see right now. They came in and they took all the drywall out, all the ceiling tile, doors, all the equipment, the books, the stacks, carpet, towel, everything had to go. It was a complete loss.
How many people were employed here? Do you know offhand?
I think there was 5 or 6 of them that was here that were affected.
So what was in this back area?
That we had a meeting, a little study room right here in the corner that was very nice. And in this area back here, we had our meeting room. This was just a big closet here. We had a kitchen area over here. This was our meeting room. We had just put a new 55-inch TV on the wall over here and a sound bar. Of course, all the electronics, everything was affected. It was a complete loss.
Yeah, I can pick out the bathroom.
Yep. And back here was our furnace room and all of our equipment, which got damaged.
All your electrical?
Yeah, all the furnaces were up here. We had 3 furnaces. Outside, all the air conditioning condensers were removed. We'll have to completely replace, they want anything that electric that was consumed with water, they want to see it replaced. So it will all have to be replaced, all the lighting, HVAC, ductwork, everything. So it's very devastating.
How quickly did you get here to survey the damage after
Well, as soon as the water went down, we were in here on the Saturday after that. And we came up and they were just letting people in at that time because the water had receded.
That's your first experience with a
Flood.
big flood like
Yeah,
this?
yes. In 1997, they had a flood up here, and there was only 3 feet of water that got in here. So they came in.
That's still devastating enough.
Yes, yeah, it was a lot of work. We were down for a long time, and but this time there was nothing to clean up. I mean, it was the whole building had to be torn down. I mean, not torn down, but everything in here had to go. There was nothing in this building that we could save.
Tim, I appreciate you showing us around. It's heartbreaking, really.
It is. It really is. And not just for us, but the whole community up here.
With me now is the director of the Kanawha County Public Library System, Alan Engelbert. Alan, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
Describe for me what it was like when you first got here after the flood hit.
Well, we came driving into the town over the bridge over the Elk River, and the entire area, it was incredible driving in, just the level of devastation that we saw all the way in. And as you turned into the city, everything was just a sea of deep, viscous, really nasty mud all the way through, and we just splashed our way through it, leaving ruts in the mud. And as we came up to the side of the building, there was enough of the parking lot that we could get out without stepping in several feet of mud. But as we came around the front of the building here, this entire glass storefront had washed out, and there was just a sea of books and DVDs and ceiling tiles all lodged in this mud, and it was about 18 inches deep, flowing out into the road. So that was our first view of it. And then we got inside, and I think you've gotten a look at what was inside, and it was essentially the same thing, only all of the contents, everything were just destroyed. We had, according to the engineers, 9 feet 3 inches of water.
It's amazing.
In the building. On the other side of the building, you can faintly see where the water came, but I'm 5'6", so take 2 of me,
right,
basically, and that's how high the water was.
So we've kind of seen what it looks like and where we are today. I know you haven't settled things yet, but what are you discussing in terms of replacing a library for the folks in Clendenin?
Well, we really haven't come to terms with that yet. We took a moment by cleaning out the building, essentially to freeze the situation. We're trying to find out now if we can rebuild, and if so, what would the conditions be? And we've heard things like, well, you're going to have to raise the building up 39 inches. Somebody else has said you'd have to raise it up 9 feet. And if you can imagine raising a building up 9 feet,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm not sure that would be feasible.
Right.
So the short answer is we don't know yet. We're still working with the state, with FEMA, with local officials, and really trying to gather information sufficient that the board can start making some logical decisions about it.
Okay, so and we're not just talking about this library, which was devastated, but your library in Elkview is cut off. A bridge was washed out. You can't get there. Nothing wrong with the building, but you can't access it.
That's right.
So you got 2 communities with no library right now. What are you doing in the meantime while you're waiting for answers for bridges to get built and decisions on this library?
Well, here in Clendenin, we've brought our mobile library out and added actually a whole nother day to the mobile library schedule, and it's here on Fridays. And now we'll have it out starting in a couple of weeks from 2 to 6 p.m. And that way we can pick up people who are still here, kids coming home from school, working adults. So it's a stopgap measure, but we have about 5,000 items on our mobile library, so it's a reasonably effective stopgap solution. We also opened up what we're calling our Elk Valley Express Library to serve both this area and the Elkview area. And that is in a building that we had been in before we went to the Crossings Mall and established our branch there. We were fortunate that the building was still available. all of the wiring, even the checkout desk was still there. So we negotiated a lease really quickly with the owner, and Frontier was great actually to get a circuit turned up there, and so we had surplus furniture and shelving, and we were able to get running in about a week once we got the paperwork done. And so we're serving those communities out of that facility right now. And it's open 54 hours a week, the same hours that our Elk Valley branch was opened.
I know you're getting a lot of calls from folks who would want to donate books.
Yes.
At this point, I guess you really don't have a place to put the donations. What's the best way for folks who want to help?
Well, the best way is to donate money. As I say, we're not sure if we're going to rebuild here, if we would look for another site, exactly what we'll do. But we have no place to put donated books, and you've been inside. If we could get 1 million books in here right now, but and we so appreciate everyone wanting to help. But at this point, they'd be more of a problem than a help. So if people really want to donate, we do suggest that they can go on our website and donate funds to us. The West Virginia Library Commission is maintaining an account through them and are distributing funds between our libraries and other libraries around the state that have been damaged. That's a good way to go also.
Alan, I appreciate you spending the time and explaining to us what's happened here and what the plans are. And certainly good luck with all those plans.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back after this.
Welcome to Understood.org, a free online resource for parents of kids with learning and attention issues, with personalized recommendations, tools, and daily access to experts to help your child thrive. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Welcome back to Libraries Today. In Raynell, West Virginia, the library was inundated with 5 feet of water, destroying the library's entire print and digital collection. Most of the furnishings were unsalvageable, but a few things, like shelving, were recovered and repaired. Earlier, I was able to visit the library and see for myself how the recovery was coming along. We're here at the Raynell Public Library, and with me now is the Library Board of Trustees President, Loretta Jones. Loretta, tell me what happened here on the day of the flood.
The day of the flood, I was in Lewisburg, and Debbie called about 1:30, and we were leaving Lewisburg. And she said that someone had called her and told her that she needed to go home if she wanted to get home. And so she said that she could not get all the way home. She had to stay with neighbors. She stayed all night at the neighbor. And I asked her if she had called Carol and Brian and told them to go home. And she said yes, but then I had to call them myself. I said, just turn everything off, lock up, and leave. And they did. Well, by the time we got home, it took us 2 hours to get from Lewisburg to Raynell. And by the time we got home, there was water across the road in front of my house. We couldn't get to the library, and we could not come down. The police would not allow us to come down in town until on Saturday.
What kind of damage was caused?
It was devastating when we walked in. It was heartbreaking because we had just had all oak bookcases made, plus we had greenbrier carpet, and we were very proud of our library at what we had accomplished over the years. And all the books and the bookcases were in the floor. Everything was tossed over. Water was about 5 foot or better in the library, but it had receded by that time. But it had gone over the filing cabinets. We lost all of our computers, all books, everything. We have to start from the floor up or the ground up, whatever.
Now, as we sit here today, it's been a couple of months
Right.
since the flood. You guys have come a long way. As I kind of look around me, it's amazing how much progress you've made. What have you had to do to get where you are today?
Okay. The flood hit on Thursday. On Monday, we had a youth group from Winston-Salem Methodist Church come in, and they cleaned out all the books, all the damaged furniture. The furniture that we couldn't keep, they had it all piled outside on Monday evening. Tuesday morning they came back and they had the carpet tore up, and things were pretty much, okay, ready to go for us to tear the walls out, because according to FEMA, we would have had to cut up 2 feet over the flood line. So we thought, okay, we may as well tear out the whole thing. And I'm standing in our back door and looking out on Greenbrier Avenue, and I see a contractor standing out in the road in front of his house. He's done work for us before. So I thought he'd had 32 inches of water in his house, but I will go and ask him. And I walked across the street and I said, Danny, do you have a crew that needs to work? He says, yes, I do. I said, libraries are famous for not having much money, but I said, if you want the job, you got it. He said, I want the job. And I said, well, I'm stepping out in faith saying we will get the money. I don't know where it's coming from, but we will get it. Then the outpouring of love and donations that the community as a whole has had is just, it brings tears to your eyes. It does.
I know, and you're getting donations from all across the country.
Oh, we are.
And
Absolutely.
a lot of people are calling, they want to donate books. At this point, where you guys are today, books aren't going to help you.
No, we need monetary donations to help pay our bills and help pay our workers, to help get things back up to way, so we can open up. And what, we need books that are clean, credible, and current books. And we are, we have to weed our books occasionally to keep them up to date. And I know people think, well, you can have a book sale. However, it takes time for the girls to go through the books, see what we can use and what would even sell in a book sale. And it takes, and that's at our library expense. And it also, it's costly to, catalog books, to cover them and put the barcodes on them. It's costly to do that. So we just can't take any book and put it on our shelf.
One of the ways to raise money are the GoFundMe sites that have popped up. You have one of those for your library as well, right?
We did have, yes.
So how does all that work, and how would you want that to work?
Okay, before they set one up, they need to contact either the librarian or a board member to see how they need to set it up. The beneficiary, from what I understand, needs to be someone that is on the checking account, and also they need to furnish their Social Security number, plus they have to furnish the bank account and the bank routing number.
So several steps need to be taken. Bottom line is contact you or Debbie before you take that step.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Loretta. Let's go take a tour of the library now. I'm here now with Debbie Goddard. Debbie is the librarian here at the Rennell Public Library. Debbie, why don't you show me how high the water was here in the library on that day?
Okay, I can show you on the wall over here. The water got up, got right under my chin. It got up right there.
And of course, obviously the damage that it did. Why don't you show me, give me a tour of the library and where things were and where things are going to go.
This is the original section that was built in '74, and this was our children's section. We had children's books over there and over there, and we had reference books over there, and on the wall we had 5 paintings of fallen soldiers from the area, and they were slightly damaged, so we're happy they're being repaired now from the flood. And we're going to use this room to set up, tried maybe about 3 weeks open up, and just set up in this room at first just so we could get some library service for the public going.
Yeah, where are library patrons going now?
They're going to Rupert and Lewisburg and
Nearby towns?
Yeah, nearby towns.
Now these shelves, I noticed, they look undamaged.
They're a little bit damaged in the backs. These aren't too bad. We saved these. We have to get the backs put back on right. But we'll be able to use these here when we open up in a couple weeks.
Okay, so why don't we take me through here?
Sure. This is our checkout area. This was where the adult section was.
So you still have a lot of work to do in here, don't you?
We still have a lot. There's still damaged shelves in here. We have to fix these up. And this is kind of where we're just storing things now just so we could get that one room going.
So all the books that were in here obviously are all gone.
They're all gone.
So as you think about where you go from here, getting more books, you're getting money donations now, you've got tons of offers for books.
Mm-hmm.
How do you refill the library and do it properly?
Well, at first, we don't have time right now to sort through all the books that are being donated, and we're going to have to come up with some kind of plan on how we can take them because we're getting so many offered. But I'm going to start ordering some books, and then I called the Library Commission, and they're going to give us deposit collections to get us going with some really nice books.
That's great. One of the things I noticed as I walk through here, the walls all look in great shape. They've been painted. How long did it take you to get to the point you are now?
About 2 months. But we had the carpenter crew was really motivated to try to get us up and going as fast as they could.
Still need carpet, obviously.
Yeah, we have carpet ordered, but it hasn't gotten in yet.
So what do we have back here?
This is our meeting room. And where we have, our activities room. And we're already getting people wanting to know when we're going to open because there's a lot of meetings, a lot of groups come back here and train and meet.
So at this point, looking at what you've already done, what you have yet to do you have an ETA when you'll be open for good?
Well, we're trying to get this room going maybe in about 3 weeks. And then it's probably going to be about 6 weeks before we get carpet. So that's going to be the big holdup now, getting carpet put in. Because we'll have to do a lot of moving around of books and shelves and stuff when that comes in. So hopefully by the end of the year we'll have everything set up and ready to go.
Well, good luck with that. We appreciate the tour and certainly good luck with all the work you have yet to do.
Oh, thank you.
When we come back, we'll go to the studio and talk with Karen Goff, who is the Secretary of the West Virginia Library Commission. We'll be right back after this.
Every child is curious.
George, look what I found.
Turn their curiosity into a lifelong love of learning. Create a curious reader.
This is super bedtime reading.
Share a book together today. Visit read.gov.
Welcome back to Libraries Today. In June 2016, 4 West Virginia libraries, hundreds of businesses, and thousands of homes were impacted by devastating floodwaters. 2 schools, Herbert Hoover High School and Clendenin Elementary, were literally washed away and will probably not reopen at their current sites. It was an overwhelming tragedy. For our libraries, the long, hard road to recovery is underway, and it won't be easy. With me now is the Executive Secretary of the State Library Commission, Karen Goff. Karen, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Well, Karen, tell me about the role of the Library Commission in a disaster like this.
The Library Commission tries to help in every way possible. Initially, that is usually with cleanup. And we have boots on the ground. Volunteers will go and help shovel that mud out and disconnect computers, try to see if they can be dried out and made to work again, or whether they need to be replaced. Later, it's sort of an ongoing advisory type role, might be advisory and encouragement. Libraries trying to recover from disasters like this need all the encouragement they can get. And then beyond that, we try to provide financial assistance to them too.
Speaking of which, you recently partnered with Books A Million with a program to raise money for the libraries.
That was a real exciting opportunity, and it was initiated by Books A Million, and in fact by the manager of the Books A Million store in Beckley. She called and said, we want to do something. And at first, she said a book fair. which made me cringe a little bit because these libraries were not ready for books. There's no way, they're not ready now for books, 60 days or so later. And it's going to still be a while. But she said, no, we want to do a fundraiser for the libraries. So on July 16th, all the stores, the Books A Million stores in West Virginia, donated part of their sales, a percentage of the sales, to flood relief specifically for the libraries. And that yielded a little over $6,000.
The response, all the responses we received, I think tell us how important libraries are to the communities.
That is really true, and not just to communities in the state. We had calls from all over the country. We want to help. How can we help? What can we do? And the response to them was what the libraries need most is finances. They need money. I know Raynell had set up a GoFundMe account. I think Kanawha County set one up for for Clendenin also. But now we're moving into, and we provided some grants to the libraries too. But because of that concern for the libraries too, it was pointed out we need to preserve some of the stories about the flooding. So we have a project called Saving Our Stories. And it is going out and just asking people to come into the library, tell us how the flood impacted them. And we will preserve those digitally and audio and have them available for researchers, for journalists, on into the future. And that's another role for libraries, which is preserving the past.
Karen, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Dan.
The West Virginia Library Commission encourages lifelong learning, individual empowerment, civic engagement, and an enriched quality of life by enhancing library and information services for all West Virginians. For questions or comments regarding topics on this show, please do not hesitate to call us at 1-800-642-9021 or visit us online at www.librarycommission.wv.gov. To keep you updated on library happenings in the state and beyond, the West Virginia Library Commission uses the WVLC website, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube channel, and the Library Lookout newsletter. If you haven't liked us or followed us on social media yet, please do.
Packers, Vikings,
Red State, Blue State.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
But when we live united, we create real lasting change in the education, income, and health of our country. Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Sign up at liveunited.org.
If you'd like to help the state's flood-damaged libraries rebuild, contact the Kanawha County Public Library or the Raynell Public Library at the numbers on your screen. I'd like to thank our guests, Alan Engelbert and Tim Venisanos from the Kanawha County Public Library, Loretta Jones and Deborah Goddard from the Raynell Public Library, and WVLC Executive Secretary Karen Goff. I'm your host, Stan Howe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Libraries Today.